Zenlesszonezero is one of the best gacha games ever created, in my honest opinion. But it does have a few minor issues, so let's talk about it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Kate7th, and I'll be your host today. So just to show you guys where I'm at, I'm level 26. After this video, I'm probably going to grind to level 30, but I have really been enjoying this game. I do think there's some minor issues, but I have a list I want to go down for my first impressions, and the first one I want to start with is user interface. And this UI is fucking gorgeous. I don't care what anyone says. I've heard some other creators say that they don't like the UI for this game, and I'm just like, how the fuck? This UI is gorgeous. I know that some people say they don't like this more section, but this more section right here makes sense to me. Like, this is stuff that you really don't use that much, while everything right here is things that you use very often. So I don't understand how people can say that this UI is not good. I think it's one of the best, if not the best UI on the gacha market today. So for the UI, I give it a solid 9.5 out of 10, because this is just such an amazing user interface. From everything you go to, it's just extremely polished. I give this a solid 9.5 out of 10. There's really no reason to stay on this topic for long, because it's just extremely solid. There's not much else to say. Now, the next topic is the world and exploration. And man, it's been a long time. I've been playing gacha games for 10 years now. It's been a very long time since I've actually wanted to truly just look around and explore an open world. Well, it's not an open world, but you guys know what I mean. But it's just beautiful. From the animations you get from General Chop making your food, from getting a coffee from over here, from playing the mini games, and also, I know many creators have already said this, but the NPCs in this game are, oh my god. I think you get my point. These are the best NPCs I have ever seen in a gacha game. And the overall world, I do think they missed out on some exploration for the game. Like, there are some parts of the exploration, such as in the Scott Outpost, for example, where I wish there was just a little bit more to do and a little bit more to go. Now, I understand the Scott Outpost is probably not the best example, but I wished every single area in the game that you can go to currently had just a tiny bit more you could do. I feel like it's not quite enough, but I know that they were trying to balance the game not being open world. They didn't want the game to feel like an open world, so I can understand that, but overall, I wish there was a little bit more in terms of exploration. But the game looks beautiful. The game looks absolutely beautiful. I will say the stages that you fight on when you're actually in combat, they're not bad. They're solid in terms of looks, but they feel kind of samey. Maybe that's just me. But they do kind of feel the same. A lot of the maps, at least, that you fight on. But that's a small complaint. Now let's talk about character designs and Bangboos. Now, the women in this game, the women, where is she? Some of the best female designs ever. The women, fantastic. I give the grown women a 9 out of 10. I think Ellen also looks amazing. I know that there's some people who have a problem with their shark tail, but I don't see it as an issue. And she's an adorable maid that looks like she would bully the shit out of me. Bonus points. I think that Ambi is one of the best designed characters in the game. Like, she has so much attention to detail. Like, it's just amazing how much attention to detail they put in this free character. It's incredible. I love it. I also really appreciate that when you switch between these, They switch poses. It's so amazing. The amount of detail they put into this is so incredible to me. I really think this is setting a new standard for how polished a game should be. And a huge thing that other gachas just don't let you do is being able to look at characters' stats, skills, and also their constellations without having the character. That is so huge. Now, I know that some people are not going to like the furries, and I understand that. I fully understand that, right? Not everybody's a furry, and I do understand that there are a lot of kid characters. I don't think there's anything wrong with having kids in your game as long as they're not sexualized. But there is a lot of kid characters at the beginning. I will understand that point, and I'm not going to knock someone for not liking that. You know, that's completely fair. Completely fair. But overall character design, I'm going to give a solid 7.5, maybe even an 8 out of 10 because of variety. I have played so many gacha games where so many of the characters between the games just look so similar. This is the first game in a long time where the characters look extremely different. They have so much different detail put into them. And I really appreciate that. And I think that's what really makes Zenlesszonezero truly stand out. But right now I'm going to give overall character designs a 7.5 out of 10. Now, my favorite thing in the game, and it's not even close, my favorite thing in the game is actually the Bangboos. And that's crazy for me, as I have always been a waifu lover. The fact that my favorite thing in the game is these little guys and not waifus. Waifus are my second favorite thing in the game. These guys are they're so adorable. They're so cute. They're so cute. They're so funny. They're so extra for no reason. Like, they're so stupid. They just do some of the wildest shit, and it makes no sense. Like, this one assisted me in one of the story missions, and when I saw him just drive on his little forklift and drill the enemy, I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I love the Bangboos so much. They're one of the best things I've ever seen implemented into a gacha game, and I'm so happy that they're such a big part of the game. I'm so happy about this. I really hope that I can get one of each Bangboo. I really hope that. I really hope that it's possible for me to one day have one of each Bangboo, because I just love these little guys so much. They all seem to have their own little unique personality. They have their own unique attributes, their ways that they help you in battle. I love them. I love them. Even the worst Bangboos, I love them. I love them. Like, who put a trash bag over this man? Who put this bag over this man? I give the Bangboo a solid 10 out of 10. Absolutely love them. They're fucking adorable. Absolutely love them. Now, music. Let's talk music. Probably the best music in gacha game history. Now, yes, if you come from other big titles such as Genshin or Honkai Star Rail or Wuthering Waves, yes, they all have some amazing music selections. But I am struggling to find a single track in Zenlesszonezero that I don't like. I'm struggling. The arcade music, the battle music on the stages, the casual music when you're just exploring, when you go in here to the cafe. I'm struggling, guys. I'm struggling to find a single song track in this game that I don't like. Like, the music is actually just stuck in my head. Like, I'm just vibing to it all day long, even if I'm not playing the game. It's absolutely incredible how good this music is. It's so good. I give the music a solid 9.5 out of 10. Now, for the story, I am not the hugest fan of the story. I don't think it's overall bad. There are some really good points of the story that I really enjoyed. I ended up skipping most of the beginning because I've already played it in the past. But the cutscenes are very, very well animated. Some people will say that the characters are a little too over-exaggerated, and I don't agree. I think it looks good. There's just some parts of the story where I really wanted to go to sleep. The story, I ain't got too much to say about the story. It's not the best story that Hoyo's ever had, but it's also not a bad story. I would give the story a solid 6 out of 10, in my opinion. But by all means, you guys can tell me if you like this story, what would you give it out of 10? But we can't talk story without TVs. I don't think the TVs are perfect, but I also don't think they're terrible either. When the TVs are used right, they're amazing. But when the TVs are overused, now that is the biggest problem. I don't think the TV system inherently on its own is bad. I think they just used it too much. Had they taken out, I don't know, maybe 60% of the TVs from the story, I think it would be a lot more tolerable for a lot of people. But the amount of TVs that are in the story, I can see how that becomes exhausting. But the TV system by itself, I don't think is bad. I think it's actually a very, very cool and unique way to tell a story, but there was just a little bit too much of them. And I think they should work on that in the future for, story updates. I don't think we need that many TVs. But the TVs in hoyoverse and other game modes, I think are incredible. I really enjoy the TVs in those game modes. So that just further goes to my point where I don't think TVs are inherently bad. They're just overused. And because of that, I'm going to give the TV system right down the middle a 5 out of 10. Had they used less of the TVs, I think I would have gave it a 7 out of 10. But the sheer amount of TVs in the beginning for story, I think really kills it. So I'm going to give it a solid 5 out of 10, right down the middle. Now, combat. This might also piss some people off, but I think Zenlesszonezero has some of the best combat on the gacha market. Now, you can make a strong argument for Wuthering Waves being better, and if you say Wuthering Waves is better, I'm not going to fight you on that. I can see your viewpoints why you think Wuthering Waves combat is better. But to say that Zenlessonzero's combat is bad, that's just not true. It is so fluid. It runs so nicely. Some of the smoothest animations in the gacha market. I don't see how people can say the combat is bad. Had the early game enemies been harder, I think people would be raving about Zenlessonzero's combat. But because the early game enemies are extremely easy, even on challenge mode, I think the combat wouldn't be getting flamed nowhere near as much as it is right now. But I am already seeing people starting to struggle a little bit on the later parts of the game. And I believe it's only going to get better. And there's no way Hoyoverse doesn't hear the feedback. I do expect the enemies to get more and more challenging, not by just increasing their health, because I do agree, increasing enemies' health is not a challenge. That's just a bullet sponge. But I do expect them to make more and more unique enemies that challenge us in the future. So right now, I can't say Zenlessonzero's combat is bad. I'm truly enjoying it. And there have been a few times where I'm like, damn, had they made this enemy attack a little bit more often, this would have actually been kind of challenging. So I believe in the future, and I think the combat is super solid. So I'm going to give Zenlessonzero's combat an 8.5 out of 10. But overall, those are my first impressions of the game. I think it is a very beautiful game. It's very polished. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite gacha game right now. And I only expect great things for the future for Zenlesszonezero. So my overall score for the game, if we add all my scores together, then that's going to be a solid 8 out of 10 on the dot for Zenlesszonezero for my first impressions of playing the game. Now, this can change in the future. I'm going to always try and be honest with you guys. If there's something I don't like, I'll tell you. If there's something I really love, I'll tell you. But these are my first impressions. And other than that, come and check me out on Twitter at @CutToThe7th. Join the Discord with our ever-growing community. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed today's content. And as always, my name is CutToThe7th. And with that, I'm signing out.